It's 2026 and you've been trying to lose fat and build muscle. So in this video, I'm going to teach you the steps you need to be taking when it comes to workouts, your nutrition, as well as organizational tips that are going to keep you on pace and consistent, because losing fat and building muscle is one thing this year, but keeping it off, that's the most important. By the way, I've been a certified fitness and nutrition coach for over 13 years, so take these tips and use them to your advantage. Now, as far as your workouts, you're going to want to work out 3, 4, or 5 times per day. Now, this is going to depend upon you and your schedule. You might be married, you might not. You might got kids, you might not. The kids might go to daycare, they might go to school, they might have school sports. You have to dictate what fits your schedule in this time. Sometimes people start the year off working out 5 times a week. Other times they go down to 2, sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's none for some weeks. That's okay. As long as overall on an annual basis you are consistent, that's all that matters. Most of my clients, honestly, they work out 3 times a week and they get pretty solid results. So if you're working out 3 times per week, there's a couple things you can do, but essentially you want to definitely lift weights. That's like a bare minimum. You need to be lifting weights, all right? And lift weights in the gym, not the ladies, not the 5, 10 cute pounds, guys. Like, we actually need to push hard on our workouts, okay? Not a comfortable workout routine that you've been used to time and time again. We got to switch up the intensity there. You can do push-pull legs. This can be like doing some shoulder work, some bench press, push-ups, so on and so forth on a Monday. Come back in on a Wednesday. Maybe do your legs then, right? It depends upon how you want to mix it up. And you have like a back day, pull day, maybe throw some deadlifts in there, but you can mix this up how you want to. If you're doing 4 days a week, then you can do 2 upper body days and 2 lower body days. I tend to do 4 days a week. My current split actually is Mondays, I'll do a leg day, which is kind of more so push legs, if that makes sense, quad focus days. Tuesday, I'll come in, I'll do a back day. If I feel like it, I might do a upper body push kind of day. It literally depends on how I'm feeling, but it's going to be an upper body day. Wednesday, I literally do nothing. I walk outside as much as I can, get some sunlight. If it's cold outside or the weather's not permitting, then I'll hit the treadmill or like a stair climber or something. But I let my body rest from the weights. And then Thursday, Friday, I come back into it. Thursday would be like a lower body day with like pull motions, RDLs, stuff like that. And Friday would be like shoulders, some core. I kind of throw my core workouts in just kind of where I see fit. When I do certain like sit-ups, leg raises, as some of y'all probably do know anatomically, it's going to attack some of the lower back as well. So if my lower back feels kind of stiff after the workout, then I'll just save the abs for like another day. And yes, I actually do train my abs, but I don't give my abs a designated day. They don't really need all that. When I was younger, my joints and tendons recovered faster, I would do abs like all the time, like every single, like 3, 4, 500 reps a day in abs. This is no exaggeration. I don't know where the energy came from, but now once, twice per week, I train abs like any other muscle, and that is all I need, maybe like 10 minutes at the most for those ab training. And every single day, I'm always trying to get my step counts up. Now, one thing I also pay attention to, if you're working out anywhere 4 or 5 plus times per week, you need to be paying attention to your recovery. So there are some weeks where it's not so much that the workouts and the walking outside has me fatigued, but it could be schooling, it could be the kids, it could be work, it could be training, it could be making this content video right here, it could be meal prepping, but I could just be drained and tired. And sometimes you actually need to listen to your body and just really sit down and recover. For example, last Friday, as I'm recording this video, I was scheduled to work out my upper body and do my push workout that Friday, but I genuinely was just so tired. I was like, if I go and work out, I don't think I'm like, I don't know. I didn't feel good about it. So I scheduled it for Saturday. I knocked it out Saturday, and now I feel great today. Now, if you're working out 5 times a week, now this is going to be really tricky. People that can work out 5 times a week, either it's a hobby or you have like a gym like in your house or downstairs or something like that. Gym got to be really close, because it's really hard to put 5 times a week in your schedule and really get like a long, effective workout in, especially cardio. But 5 days a week, to be honest, I've been working out since I was like 9 years old. I started lifting weights when I was like 14. I had my first experience when I was my dad when I was like 12, but 14 when I started like lifting weights more consistently, football and stuff like that. What I now in this older age have found to be more beneficial is actually bro splits. And like a lot of the science has gotten away from like, oh, you shouldn't do the bro splits in this, that, third. But one thing that I've noticed is recovery has really helped me out. So if I ever have a 5 time a week split, which has been a while, I'm not gonna lie. That's why I like my 4, because I feel really good on my off days and even on my on days. But 5 times a week, like the beginning of your week is gonna be a little harder. So like, let's say you did upper body on a Monday, you do legs on a Tuesday, but focus specifically on like quad focus. So now doing deadlifts and legs, because that's gonna really put a lot of tax on your spine, on your spinal cord. You come back in on Wednesday and do some back day, right? Do some pulling. Thursday could easily be some shoulders, maybe some arms that you didn't hit in the back. And then Friday, you can can do some RDLs and stuff like that, right? That could be a 5-day split. Heck, you could do Monday through Thursday, skip Friday and do weights on Saturday, give you a little bit of recovery, skip Sunday, and then hop back into it. Honestly, when you're natural and above like 30 some years old, you know, you really got to have like those Herculean joints to keep on going. That's what I'm noticing. It's not so much that like I don't want to work out or I can't get in 5 days a week, but it's more so that like my body is damn tired. Most time, I like my 4 days a week. I like my cardio. And plus, it puts time back on my schedule. Now, I'm going to put this right here too. So I lost 20 pounds last year. This video's all over the place. I lost 20 pounds last year. And this was in 11 weeks right here. Now, in these photo transformations right here, I was only working out 2 to 3 times per week. Like there were a lot of weeks where I only got in twice. Now, granted, I was walking at least 11,000 steps per day on average on the latter 6 half of this. And another thing too, so I did a no alcohol stint for like 100 days during this, but I actually stopped that halfway through. I'm not saying y'all should drink or like I'm not a proponent of telling people, oh, you can moderate. Y'all do what y'all want, drink responsibly. The latter 6 weeks of this transformation of losing these 20 pounds right here, I actually was drinking. It wasn't every day, but like maybe like a glass of wine during the week and maybe like a cocktail or two on the weekend. Like that's what I was doing. I was still able to get some pretty stellar results, but I will attest that a lot of the jumpstart was cutting out the alcohol in the first part to really let my body kind of calm down and de-inflame, if that's a word. I'm a college educated, right? That's what I do for the workout. So hopefully that stuff helps. If you need workout splits, I have in the comment link below in the description a free workout body recomp guide you can download. Click that and it'll be sent right to your email as well as text message to you. Before we start nutrition, you need to check these boxes. Make sure you are getting enough sleep. You can be doing all the workouts. You can be eating clean, everything. If you're not sleeping well, then you're just not going to get results. The reason being is because when you go to sleep, this is when our body burns all the fat. This is when we undergo the most muscle protein synthesis. This is just a very big anabolic window. And most of us, especially you watch this video, I already know you're not getting at least 6 hours sleep. So like, let's just start there. A lot of my clients that start up with me, you know, they were looking for the perfect meal plan of workouts. And while I can structure this type of stuff for you, the thing that I want you to do is to just like get back to homeostasis. Okay, get back to regular balance. How is your sleep? You sleep 4 or 5 hours a night? Okay, right. Like literally the plan I tell them, hey, show up, work out, track your workouts on the app, eat healthy. They're like, what's healthy? Just try to find something. Like, don't even overthink. Just try to eat something that you think is healthy and take your butt to bed. Like the focus is literally the first month, go to bed. Funny enough, when you go to bed and on time and start getting better sleep, everything just starts to fall in line, right? And then we can move to the next step, which is nutrition. Okay, so for nutrition, I don't want you to crash diet. I don't want you to do the fasting and all that stuff. Those are all very helpful techniques. I love fasting myself, but more so for spiritual reasons. I love intermittent fasting. Like I love the low carb, like all that stuff really helps. But right now you need a structured plan because I don't want your problem right now is that you're rushing to get this weight off. And while you can rush to get it off, every time you rush to get the weight off, it's came right back. So this is how we're going to fix that. 6-month timeline. Month 1, just start eating healthy. Because right now, I don't want you to be stressed out about the calorie count, the carb count, the protein, the fat, this grocery item. Don't worry about all that stuff. Right now, just try to eat healthy and make sure you're eating 3 times a day, which is another thing. A lot of people that I work with as a certified nutrition coach, they're just not simply eating 3 times per day. They're not even teaching their body consistency. Imagine you're dating somebody and they're not showing up with you consistently. Are you going to want to marry that person? No. Are you going to be there for that person? No. So if you're not there for your body consistently, with the meals, it's not going to show up for you consistently. Okay. So let's do that month 1. Month 2 is sacrifice, y'all. So when I mean sacrifice, this doesn't mean cut everything out. The entire time of month 1, while you're choosing to eat healthier, right, and 3 times a day, I want you to also be thinking, okay, in month 2, what is something that I want to give up? So like, for example, for me, February, I'm giving up eating out. If I have to spend money outside of my house to eat it, aside from the grocery store, pretty much we got food at home, y'all. That's pretty much the challenges for February for me. And that has helped me sacrifice something that I like convenience. Like, even if it's healthy food, I'm just telling myself, no, I can't have it. And so that means no Chick-fil-A, no Panda Express teriyaki meal, no going to Chipotle and get like a little bowl. And nope, I have to discipline myself to make sure I get it done right here and right now. That sacrifice for you might be putting your phone down at night. It might be going to bed on time. It might be skipping a couple of happy hours, if not all of them. It might be cutting alcohol. It might be cutting people off. I don't know. But I want you to sacrifice something because this is going to help you with delayed gratification. A lot of this fat loss and muscle building process is so slow that we don't see the changes. Like, everybody sees the weight that we gain over time, but we didn't just wake up overnight and just all of a sudden we're up 50 pounds. It just happened. You built body fat a pound at a time. pound at a time. So it's a week here, you made a pound, a month here, you gain 2 pounds, and it's built and built and built. The same thing can actually happen with losing fat and building muscle, but you got to learn sacrifice. You got to learn the delayed gratification. For your 3rd month, y'all, now we need to actually lock in. So this is the point where I actually want you to start being accountable for your things. One, by the time we hit month 3, like, I'm not trying to hear excuses like I was too tired to go to the gym, because like I said, you can go 3, 4, or 5 times per week. 3 is like my bottom line, non-negotiable. Now, if you are super busy, you're probably a client probably working with you. We can do 2 times a week. I have clients that get results on that. It's heavily focused on nutrition. However, most of y'all, you can find 3 times a week to go work out. And I'm talking like 30 minutes a day. If you can do more, great. But I need you lifting weights at least 3 times a week, 30 minutes a day. Like, you can do that bare minimum. Nutrition wise, now I want you to start focusing on your protein intake. What you're going to do with your protein intake is you're going to take your body weight. I'm just going to keep it really simple for y'all. So I want you to take your body weight, divided by 2.2. This is going to put your body weight in kilograms. So to keep it simple, if you weigh 220 pounds on a scale, divided by 2.2, you now have 100 kilos of body weight. Multiply that by 1.5 to 2 grams of protein. That is your protein intake. So if you are 100 kilos, that means you're going to intake between 150 to 200 grams of protein. This is the baseline to get you started and keep you going and keep the belly off. All right, I'm tired of seeing y'all post online the same day one workout, the same day one meal plan. This is the same stomach you lost last year. All right, we need to stop doing that. All right, so month 3, we're locking in. On top of protein, now we're not necessarily counting calories. We're counting your protein, macro. Everything else, I actually don't care. Notice we haven't even dived into counting calories yet. There's a reason behind that. Carb wise, I want you to time the bulk of your carbs around your movement. So if you're about to go out for a long walk, which I highly recommend every single day, then time your carbs around that. Maybe before, because it's going to help with digestion. After, if you need to. Let's say it's you want, like, I don't know, a cheat meal or something. Work out that day, lift weights, and go have that meal like right around there, because your body's gonna be more absorptive of those nutrients from the meal. Even if it's a slice of pizza, your body's gonna absorb a little bit more of that for like places you want it to go. And you might still store some as fat, depending on if you're in calorie deficit or not, but it's just gonna help you in the long run. Now, month 4 through 6 is pretty much gonna be the same. I want you locked in Monday to Friday, half Saturday, half Sunday. This is going to even more help you practice delayed gratification, because it's going to put you into what I call a 5-2 routine. So 5 days a week, you're super locked in. 2 days, you're kind of locked in. And so Monday through Friday, like, hey, it's healthy. Like, we got food at home. Here's your protein goal. Get your workouts in, get your steps in. Saturday, Sunday, this is what I recommend. Wake up, drink your water, go get some fresh air, get some steps in. Drink your coffee black if you want some, and eat 3 healthy meals, Saturday and Sunday included, before you have the thing you want. A lot of the time when you eat 3 healthy meals, you work out, you get your steps in on the weekend, and then you go get the thing you want, you tend to not eat as much of it. So, like, all right, don't tell anybody, but I had Wingstop maybe a couple days ago, and I got the 20 wings. I ate like 7, and I was full. Why was I so full? I had 180 grams of freaking protein, sardines, shakes, eggs, ground beef. Like, I was so full. I had a ton of water. And I still had some of the wings, but I'm like, yo, I'm just so stuffed with healthy food that's like, damn, I didn't tell myself I can't have the thing that I wanted. I just told myself I got to do this thing first. So this is the 5-2-ish kind of thing I like to do. Monday through Friday, locked into your diet, your workout, your routine. And then Saturday, Sunday, you're still kind of locked in, but you still get to have the things that you want. All right. This is super important for maintaining. This is month 4 through 6. Now, during month 4 through 6, if you want to, then you can check out the video that I'll have linked after this video to teach you how to count calories and stuff like that. But you still don't have to meal plan unless you really, really want to. I'll teach it to you. Now, let's talk about organization. Everybody watch this video right now. You now have a new policy. Hey, let me check my calendar first. That is our new policy. We only operate based off the calendar. If somebody asks you, hey, are you free this day, this month, six months from now? If you're talking to the dentist, like, hey, can you do an appointment a year from now? Check in your calendar, right? Oh, sorry. That's Thanksgiving right there. I got to get the kids. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to make it. I need y'all so in tune with that calendar. That is your new policy. Let me check my calendar. I'm telling you, when you start doing this, people are gonna start looking at you and laughing, especially if you're somebody who does not utilize a calendar. I use Google Calendar. You can use what you want, but they're gonna laugh at you. And after about 4 to 6 weeks, they're gonna realize she was serious. Oh, this dude's serious about the calendar thing. Okay. People now tell me to check my calendar because they already know what's coming next. They don't just ask stuff. They ask me, hey, what's on my calendar? You have to train the people around you more than you got to train yourself to be on point. The next thing, organization, is you need a morning routine and you need a night routine. Now, you don't need an Ashton Hall crazy ass morning routine, night routine. No, you just need to know what you're going to be doing. So like I have in my phone and at the nighttime, if I have like class the next day, what's in my lunchbox, what needs to be out for my clothes, for the gym, for my workout in the morning, what foods am I eating, so on and so forth. Like all that stuff is planned out, written out, it's there. So I can set it, forget it, boom. When I get home at night, I know shower, stuff with the kids, dinner, get the clothes out for my morning routine, so on and so forth. Like all that stuff is written down. I want to try to take as much thought and mental bandwidth. When y'all go about your day, some of y'all probably don't notice, when you go about your day and you're just tired, you're not really physically tired, but you just feel drained. You sit in the car, the door's closed, and it's just such a solace of that silence. This is because you are mentally drained. Like your bandwidth is gone. And so I want you to get some of that bandwidth back. Anyway, get your routine set. And the last thing with organization is go to bed. Like go to bed consistently. So if you're going to bed at 12 o'clock every night, right now, bedtime is at 11. I need you laying down by 11. I need the phone at your hand by 11:30. All right. Your next step, bedtime's at 10 o'clock. I need the phone at your hand by 10:30. I need you to sleep laying down by 11 o'clock. Next step, bedtime is now at 9 o'clock. I need you in the bed between 9:30 and 9:45. Put that phone down. It should not be in arm's reach within your bed. If you need to, get you one of the old school digital clocks, or heck, get the one you got to actually slam and put it across the room so you don't have to touch your phone. We need to start to associate our bedroom with sleep, because you're finishing a long day and working out and whatever, and you're just scrolling up until like 12, 1, 2 o'clock at night. And now you're trying to, you're overstimulated. That's one. And then you're trying to put your phone down because you know you got to get up. Your body's stressed, and you get 4 hours sleep, and you wake up stressed because you're not recovered and you're groggy. And it's a vicious cycle that keeps building. All right. And so sleep, like I said in the beginning of the video, sleep is super important. So I need you to be locked in to that bedtime routine. All right. And that's pretty much it for this video. If you want coaching with me, hit the link in the bio below. But I also want to teach y'all about meal planning as well too. It's going to be very integral to your process. It's going to help you out. So if you're like, hey, I can't just eat on the fly like that, I need meal plan help, watch the video right here next, and I'll see you there. Peace.